In this video, we're going to show you how to replace an inner tie rod on your Ford Focus. Let's get started. Using a 19mm socket, remove the 4 lug nuts. If your wheel is stuck on, leave 1 lug nut, thread it on. Using a saw face hammer, we're going to hit the rim on the back. Remove the wheel. Using a 22mm wrench, we're going to break the jam nut free for the tie rod. Make sure it spins freely. Using a 15mm socket, remove the nut for the tie rod end. Remove the nut. We're going to hit right here with a hammer to release the tension on the outer tie rod end. Pop it out. Remove the outer tie rod end. Using a pair of pliers to hold the inner tie rod, we're going to use a 22mm socket to remove the jam nut. Remove the clamp for the bellows boot. Remove the crossover tube from the bellows boot. Pull it out. We're going to remove the clamp for the bellows boot. Using a pair of pliers, I'm going to get up under the top of the clamp. Start to open it up. Open the clamp and remove it. Using a flat blade screwdriver, I'm going to get under the bellows boot and break the tension from the boot to the rack. Grab the bellows boot and pull straight off. Remove it from the vehicle. Using an inner tie rod removal tool, we're going to remove the inner tie rod. If you don't have one of these tools, you might be able to get a pair of pliers in there to remove it. Remove the inner tie rod. Install the inner tie rod. Get it started by hand. Snug it down. Torque the inner tie rod to 66 foot-pounds. Remove the jam nut. Install the bellows boot. Make sure it's fully seated onto the rack. And try to get the port for the crossover tube lined up. Install the crossover tube. Make sure it's fully seated. Using a cable tie, we're going to secure the boot. Pinch the bellows boot clamp, install it onto the tie rod, and get it around the boot. Install the jam nut. Remove the nut off the tie rod end. Install the tie rod end into the inner tie rod. I'm going to try and get it to about where it was when we took it off. Install the tie rod end into the knuckle. Get the nut started. Using a 16mm socket, we're going to snug down the nut. Torque the tie rod end nut to 26 foot-pounds. Using a 13mm wrench to hold the inner tie rod, use a 21mm wrench to snug down the jam nut. Install the wheel. Get the lug nuts started. Snug them down. Torque the lug nuts to 94 foot-pounds in a cross pattern. Once you're done with this job, take your car to a local shop and have them do an alignment.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.